They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 203 of the Magic Guys. I know last week I said 102. Thank you for the comments to remember I was 100 episodes behind. To my left, we've got Nick K.
It's good to know that people are actually listening.
It is very good. And down below, we have the return of Douglas.
Look, I found my way back.
Khan.
What's up, y'all? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and, salutations to the kindred spirits.
Absolutely. It's good to have you
heard
back,
about
mate.
Daddy Doug. Well, everyone was just like, "Where's Daddy Doug?" I was like, "He went to buy a pack of smokes and kind of never came back."
No, that was the appropriate vibe to have. It was a challenging holiday season for yours truly, but,
Insane.
ebbs and flows.
We're here in Australia watching just all of this crazy shit happen in the US, and
This
we're
country.
like, bloody hell. I mean,
It is pretty gnarly. So, I mean, at the time of this recording, because people might listen back to this, like Los Angeles is on fire, and it is the most expensive billions of dollars that have been damaged and houses that have been burned. Like P. Diddy's house burned down, which he's stoked about. Mel Gibson's lost his house. All these mansions have gone up.
I'll tell you, the Magic Castle was this
So
close.
oh, I was watching that.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
because of their, maybe their notoriety and also their locale, which my understanding they allowed some staging to happen for the fire departments there. It's now a distribution point for, people that need help, or it was. And that was a close one.
Which is tragic. It's so, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who's been affected by it. Most definitely. I actually caught up with Simon Coronel, our Aussie FISM winner. And I saw him yesterday, and same thing. I was just like, "Are you okay in LA?" And he's like, "It got close, man. It got really close." And he's flying out in 2 days to see what the sort of the wreckage, And for God's sake, be safe. And we wish you guys well, everyone in LA. So yeah. And then outside of that, the inauguration, everyone's been asking me about that. Like, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'm like, I've not even gotten around it, not once, or watched it or anything. But the main thing that people are talking about outside of that is the whole TikTok game going on, because supposedly we're supposed to have been shut down, but then I believe it's been extended for another 90 days.
Yeah, Doug, give us the lowdown. What happened when you first heard about it, like actually going to be banned?
So, I followed this since Trump wanted to shut it down in 2020, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. And they released some news about 4 or 5 months ago. I told my wife, I said, they're going to shut it down this time. And sure enough, they did. Is there an extension? No, not really. Trump wants everyone to think there is, and that he saved TikTok. But in the bill that was passed, this 90-day extension, Biden was prepared to grant it, but pushed it to Trump, allowing him to do it. He hasn't done it yet. So, right now it's all kind of in limbo. And even when this extension happens, it's only saving TikTok if it is sold.
So speaking of it being sold, I did see a video earlier today, and Thomas Conger just mentioned in the chat that Mr. Beast is buying it. I literally saw a video of Mr. Beast, famous YouTuber Mr. Beast, on his plane going, "I'm on my way to make an offer. I can't say what it is, but wish me luck," type of thing. And I was like,
that's a great social media clip, huh?
That is,
at the end of the day, it's $200 billion value, and there's only a few people that could do that. Trump has friends that are that person, but you know what? Here's the problem. China doesn't want it to be sold. ByteDance doesn't want to sell their business. So, I think I really expect a ban in 90 days. Like, I don't know that it's going to survive past that, but I also have faith in the shenanigans of the American government, and they'll figure out a new lie to tell us that'll keep it going.
I was listening to a podcast with Gary Vee, and he mentioned something, which is Vine. Were you ever on Vine, Doug? I wasn't making videos back then.
I watched my kids play on it, but
right.
I was kind of late to TikTok even.
So Vine, for those who might not know, was the first like short form video platform where it was 6-second videos.
Yep.
And that's it. You can only make 6-second videos. And that is where most of the famous YouTubers and social media stars you see today started. But David Dobrik started there. Josh Peck started there. Logan Paul started there. Like the list goes on. They all started there. And then one day they said, oh, in 24 hours, Vine is going to be deleted. And what happened was everyone like freaked out. I think because they weren't paying the people that were the social media stars that were on that platform. Vine didn't want to pay them. So they were like, well, we're going to make videos elsewhere. They weren't making money now because there weren't viral videos being made on there. Anyway, they went and people jumped to places like YouTube and Instagram and stuff. This is before TikTok. But the thing is, when Elon bought Twitter, it also meant that he bought Vine. So Vine didn't it's still an entity and it's still a machine that exists, but it's turned off.
It's part of the Twitter empire, the X.com family.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So Gary was saying, what if Elon waits till TikTok is gone and then all of a sudden decides to push the green light and launch Vine again?
Wow.
How about no? And I don't want to get too political ever in my life, but after Elon Musk's shenanigans today, how about we don't do anything that supports his products?
Well, can we roll it back for just a second? Because what I'm trying to understand is now, admittedly, I don't tinker with this stuff a lot, and in fact, I'm gonna very openly say that like my knowledge of this whole social media game is very poor. I mean, I don't even manage my own socials. I got somebody who does it for me very well. And the first thing I want to sort of establish in this chat, if I may, is what are the motivations for getting rid of TikTok? Is it the fact that it's information going to China and there's some sort of spy element?
Let me speak on this. I am an expert on the matter, studied it in depth. So when Trump tried to shut it down years ago, they said that it's the security that's the problem.
Right.
So TikTok said, how can we appease you? And America said, how's the American data on American soil owned by an American company? So now in Texas, under the Oracle brand, which is an American company, all of the American data is there. So they accommodated them in that respect.
Okay.
But yes, it is a considerable threat to have all of this information of Americans available to the Chinese government if they so choose to get it. There's been zero proof they've done so. Generally in this country, we give the burden of proof, to the accuser, not the innocent, and that they were going to penalize the company. Maybe they would be found guilty of something. They haven't been. Right. So there's issues in that respect.
So just to reiterate, we're talking about TikTok, a platform in which people mime songs poorly and shake their...
Hold on. No, we're talking about a platform where I get important news. We're talking about a platform where I connect with like-minded individuals and reach tens of thousands of interested fans on an hourly basis. I get recipes on there. I watch my wrestling stories. And yeah, sometimes I'll put a dancing girl in my face and I'll swipe by it, but there's everything on TikTok. It's all there. It's a wonderful platform. I have a sneaking suspicion that some of the media that comes on there, the government doesn't like the Americans to receive. Some news that they would prefer filtered through the major media conglomerates. There's only 5 big ones in this country. We get drip thread. Yep, here's some news. TikTok gives it all to the country.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. That's the other thing that Doug's saying is that apparently America feels like they can't control the content that is flowed to the Americans on that channel.
I'll explain it briefly. I was telling my wife, for example, if a train goes off the tracks in Mississippi and the chemicals land in the lake and pollute the lake, maybe the major media can contain that story, and then there won't be lawsuits against the corporations and so on. They can keep making their products. But this kind of news gets out, everyone knows about it, and this is just a small example of perhaps, the kind of media that, at least corporations, which really control this country, they pay the congressmen to do what they want. And this is why I don't talk politics too much. passionate about it. And
well, good. I just want to establish that as a base, man, because like I wasn't sure if it like so it's national security in a sense. It's not really sort of information to be leaked and the Chinese using it against us per se, but it is just information that can be shared freely.
Yeah.
Which, to my knowledge, other people slander Elon a lot. He is for free speech. He is like, do what you want to say. That's a freedom that everyone should be afforded. But by shutting it down, are we saying that Trump's administration, just to keep it broadly, like is all about controlling information in that sense?
I would think he's publicly stated his intent, if you listen to Donald Trump, quote, that his intent is for America to buy 50% of TikTok and control it that way.
Right.
Because that's going to stop the Chinese from getting that information that threatens the country. It's ludicrous that he makes statements like America's going to buy TikTok.
Yeah. So you're saying that like that's what he's proclaiming, but really the underlying notion is that he can control everything being shared to Americans.
If you're the company that controls like the algorithm and maybe, theoretically you could, censor some of the media that comes through there.
Well, the question is,
let's not talk about theories because there's great facts we can talk about.
Oh well,
look, if it gets banned again, or whatever's happening, I guess people already don't trust it now, so they're probably not going to invest their time in it. Where's the next eyeballs going, do you think, Doug? Like, do you think everyone's going to move to YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels?
From my point of view, the best alternative currently is YouTube Shorts. But honestly, I think the best move and one that will probably grow the most is Blue Sky. They need to integrate some video features to kind of let this happen. But they provide a platform that lets the content creator own their content, and also the technology that interacts with the Blue Sky platform is much more open source and flexible than anything that's come before it.
What is the elevator pitch of Blue Sky? This is the first time actually hearing
Twitter.
about it.
It's Twitter, but not controlled by
Okay.
Blue Sky was developed by the former owners of Twitter, and they're just doing it, it seems to me, the right way.
So is it text-based?
Currently, text, photos, I think small videos, maybe it's limited to a minute, so it doesn't offer all of the flexibility of TikTok and YouTube. And ultimately, the TikTok conundrum is that this algorithm they developed really works so well to provide the viewer with what they are seeking. Like I said before, I watch my wrestling stories there. I get gaming content. And what my wife watches is 100% different. I'll look over there and it's puppy dogs and kittens and babies. She sees something completely different than me. And this is the challenge to replicate that really can't be done. So you say, is there an alternative? Not one that I see, but maybe it comes from the ashes.
The interest-based algorithm has been so freaking world-changing, isn't it? That any video can go viral because it's just if that individual video is good, not the creator. I've noticed, but I mean, I have noticed the same thing with even Instagram Reels are doing it now. Like
they copy TikTok. They would, and if you look 100%. At their recent update, it very much is TikTok-y.
Yeah,
and 2 days ago, they're like, we're TikTok now.
Yeah, exactly what you just described with your wife. I'm the same. Like I look at Sandy, like my feed is a lot of podcast clips and like motivational clips, occasionally magic. Hers is like people farting in public, like dogs being cute. And she's like, she can't get enough of it, like cringe comedy. I'm like, what planet are our phones on? Like, it's so smart. So smart.
But go on Facebook Reels and see what you get.
Yeah. What I'm curious about, gentlemen, is that there is a very vast amount of people on TikTok who rely on this for their income. I mean, that's their main source of income. What's going to happen in that regards? Like what does it mean? Is what I'm asking. Like if you're someone
being one of the 7 million small businesses, there's a few people. I think the number is 300,000 earn their living. And then there's 7 million small businesses like me that count on maybe the TikTok income to pay their internet bill or whatever. It's not making a big difference in my life, but I don't have that money every month. It does make a little difference the other way, which no one can afford these days. And then all of a sudden you wake up and maybe your business is big. What if you're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars on the TikTok shop and they rip it all away because of fear and, no facts. And
Yeah. Or sponsor.
let me state one more thing for anyone that's listening. The way this bill was passed, it was part of a larger bill that was sending foreign aid money to Ukraine. This bill was destined to pass. There's no way it wouldn't. So if you were going to vote for the foreign aid bill, you had to vote for the TikTok bill. They'll tell you it's a bipartisan bill that passed through for flying colors. Of course it is, because everyone was going to vote for this other thing. It's an underhanded American pass laws they want to push through. And that's how this happened. We didn't get a voice as the freedom, the land of the free American people never voted for this. And I don't think it was ever made clear that your representative might be voting that way for this topic. So, ew.
Yeah. No one got to say. They just slipped it in amongst this other stuff that was being voted on.
Well, yeah, imagine that happening and your big business goes away because of that.
Well, just to circle back to that question of like my business, my income. There's individuals who have sponsorships through products or whatever else, and like mention my product, and we'll give you X amount of dollars a month, for example. Those guys are effectively now having their entire incomes cut, dead in the water. Like, go work a fast food.
Well, let's go into magic a little bit here, and then we can segue in a little bit. One of my dreams and hopes for the last year was to open a TikTok shop. I've done some affiliate things. I've looked at some options. I've talked to some people, and that dream was ripped away, last week. And now I have another potential dream. My future employer left me a message today that we're going to open a TikTok shop. And we'll talk about maybe where I'm going next, but I have the ability to open this dream, and gosh darn it, you know what I have to do now is do this for 90 days to see if they're going to let me keep it or not, when, I have no choice in the matter, and it's all based on fear. It's sad.
It is sad. And it's the best place to be able to, like, just magic wise, like, to be able to go live for a long period of time, connect with live viewers,
and
like,
have your product linked on the live by now, There's nothing like that happening. Amazon has some options, but that's not what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of folks in the chat who are saying that, like, it's not going anywhere. They're pretty, TikTok. Now, do you think this could just possibly be a kind of strong bluff strategy, if you will, to which, all right, look, we'll bend the knee, and we'll give you your own servers. You can have your own TikTok, and the rest of the planet can have this.
So it was signed into law. The president signed it. It was appealed. It went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said there is reason to have concerns for security risk, and this law is valid. These same Supreme Court members, I'm sure, are close friends with, I don't even, I'm going to start talking about the people that contribute to Mark Zuckerberg and his lobbyists in Congress that pay them to vote the way that they want, so that the Meta products get the views instead of when TikTok goes away and their stock goes up. More ew. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
If Meta wins, if TikTok goes away, Zuckerberg just gets richer, and we all have to watch Reels, if you don't know how to find shorts.
But does money even a thing to him anymore? I think, once you get that rich, money's like,
no, it's all about control and having power. Same thing though, right?
Right. I wouldn't mind a bit of money and power. Just give me a little bit. No,
I just want to pay my bills. That's all.
That's exactly right.
That's right. We just want to be able to live. It's the type of thing where, I mean, if we can just talk about the state of things in Australia, we say things to the effect of, well, unemployment's up to 4% now, right? And people are complaining. Yet they have the audacity to say, like, oh, but we're generating all these jobs. And it's like, yes, you are generating all these jobs, but there is a vast majority of our population who have to work 3 of them just to make ends meet. 9 to 5 is not a thing anymore. You need to have multiple streams of income if you are going to have anything or build any sort of future that you can actually take a step back and go, you know what? I think I might be able to live off my superannuation or my 401k in your sense. So the world is a state.
I had a relative comment about how great things are in America. Like all of our stock prices are up and everyone's making money. But you know what? There's still 40 million Americans living below the poverty line. I think there's a lot of wealthy people, and a lot of them are winning right now, and they have a little bit of a, if you're wealthy, it's easy to smell the roses, right? But if you're struggling, it's just, there's 40 million Americans that can't afford to pay their bills.
Well, there's something that was said to, I saw it in a video, and it really hit me because I'm guilty of this. And what it said was that, like, there's a lot of bad things that are happening effectively, and we're not doing anything to stop it or to change it. All we're trying to do is become wealthy enough that it doesn't affect us. And that was exactly what I was doing. And I went, who am I? I'm one guy. And you just realize that you're sort of beat by the system. And it's so much bigger than all of us. I'm
hoping one of the fat cats gets smart and starts sharing the wealth. Like, all right, 400 billion's enough. I can spread around 100 billion of it to the people. Just give everyone a little bit. Man, how many billions you need? 500 billion? A trillion? I have a trillion.
Or just lower the cost of gas, for God's sakes.
We go to buy eggs right now. They're $10 a dozen in the grocery store. And granted, there's something going on with eggs, but even when they're on sale at normal price, it's $5 for a dozen eggs. It used to be $1. I don't even know.
Why is that happening, Doug? Why is that? Like, what's happening?
Well, I think there's a bird flu thing right now limiting eggs, but what about $5 eggs? And what happened is after the pandemic, inflation raised all the prices and the corporations never lowered the prices. So, our minimum wage is still $7 an hour, but everything costs, $25 an hour to live.
So speaking of pricing and stuff and cost of living in certain areas, and then the LA fires happening, Doug, that sort of helped you have a awakening moment, right? That sort of leads us into this fun discussion.
Talking about Las Vegas?
I am.
I don't know that any of the calamities of the universe affected this decision. It's mainly the result of me butting my head against the wall for, several months and watching my wife work really hard and have to pay more than her share of the bills these days. And I've had a dream really since I came to New Orleans about 35 years ago. I was going to the West Coast. I came here for the winter, and I was just going to keep going west and stop by Las Vegas and then go to California and so on. So I've been speaking with this gentleman who has a store in Las Vegas, tricksupply.com. This man is Wolfgang Wollett. What a gem he is. I've enjoyed every time I've spent with him. If you're in America, you've seen his booth at all the major magic conventions. Wolfgang's always displaying. If you're going to Magi Fest, he'll be there. Stop by at Magi Fest. Tell him Doug said to say hi and buy something. He tried to talk me into working for him a few years ago, but because I had my own retail situation, it was a conflict. And as I've winded down my retail endeavors, I'm able to have this conversation with someone that might be able to use my skills. So I'm moving to Vegas.
Oh,
Sunday. Temporary Airbnb for a month. We'll be easing into this store and opening the brick and mortar and blowing up the socials. That's what I'm doing.
That is insane. A magician moving to Vegas is like every bloody kid's dream.
A pilgrimage.
Growing up. Yeah. Hell.
So
yeah.
here's the beauty of this store. Wolfgang has been in business for over 20 years, and he accumulates magic a number of ways. One of them is buying estates. So he's got a large inventory of everything. And my requirement will not be to sell the latest, greatest thing that everyone thinks they need. But when someone genuinely wants to improve their magic, I'll be able to help them. What do you do? And I won't have to say, I'll be able to say, yes, I know what you need. I can help you. And so looking forward to having a new point of view for my social media audience, my YouTube viewers, my shorts viewers. I've got so many interesting plans to educate you as I get educated with all this magic that I'm not familiar with, right? I don't know how all the macrame wood stuff and the parlor magic. So I'm going to get an education and share all that as well. It's just, I couldn't be more excited. Plus I'm in Vegas with the best magic in the world. Excuse me.
Amen. You're going to fit right in if that's the case, right?
I'm 3 hours from the Magic Castle now. How about that? Much more attainable to go do that gig.
That's insane. Now, am I lagging, by the way? Just quick check, because you guys were lagging, but you were both lagging.
No,
so
I
feel
haven't
like
shut
it
up
must
for
have been
10
me.
minutes.
No, we're good.
Okay, sweet. I think it was the amount. I think it was probably actually Elon trying to tune in and stuff up our stream for a second. But
Yes,
we
we're on
will
the radar now.
We will prevail.
Oh.
How amazing! And now that's gonna, people will have another reason to go to Vegas. Magicians will maybe go to Magic Live.
Yeah, the
maybe
shop
go see
is near the
Copperfield, but-
airport. So when you get off the plane, or when you're going home, stop by Trick Supply and come say hi to me.
Oh,
It's
easy
going to be
done.
appointment only during February. This will give me a chance to learn the inventory, learn all the stuff, and I also got to move. So once I get I'm there temp for a month, and then the wife's coming out in March. So that'll happen in March, and then we'll have the doors open. Reg.
Wow, it's
That
all
is
happening real quick.
Yeah.
Let
Well,
me
That
ask
is incredible.
What are you going to miss about New Orleans?
I've been here so long, it won't be much. It'll be my girls. That's about it right now. I have
Mhm.
some very close friends here that I'll miss. A couple.
Food?
But the freedom. There's no freer city in this country than New Orleans. And if you want to come enjoy your life, however you'd like, this is the place to do it. But man, it's hot. Man, it's stupid. It's been getting stupider, and there's hurricanes. And I've done everything there is for me to do here. I really am not interested in street performing anymore, and been medically advised not to be in the sun. So it's like that shouldn't be a primary focus of my life.
Yep.
And yeah, I think I've found my current calling, and I'm going to follow it. He called a few years ago. I should have just gone when he called the first time.
Yeah, I think Vegas is going to be
but-
pretty excited to have you, man. I think that I just imagine you, for whatever reason, you're just going to connect immediately with Bizarro, and it's going to be like, hey, Biz.
Oh, I messaged him yesterday. I said, Biz, I'm coming to town.
I knew it. Yeah, and it's going to be like, great.
we go back a ways, like he was staying at my house in New Orleans 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
we're bros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's awesome.
and that guy's down with everything. Like he's got the whole business with escape rooms and so forth that he does, and
There's a reason I messaged him like one of the first. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
Biz is
what I
the
thought of,
man in Vegas. Yeah, I'll be in Jeff McBride's neighborhood as well, Paradise Valley, where the Airbnb is, and I've been eyeballing a townhouse apartment right across from the shop. So maybe I'm walking to work even and near Jeff McBride. So maybe I'm mystery schooling sometime.
so great.
Be
You got to do
so many
that.
things, man. All the shows. Go to the West
Mm.
Coast, watch Frank DeVille work Santa Monica Pier. Get in line there and tell it. So many
That's crazy.
West Coast lecture tour. Been on my list for years. Can do
Now,
it. No problem.
for us listening, whose geography isn't amazing of the states. I know where Vegas is. It's kind of on the West Coast,
Yeah.
right? Where's New Orleans?
It's a 2-day drive. If I
2-day
drive
drive.
it straight, it's 29 hours nonstop. So to drive it, it's going to take 2 days.
Is it in the middle? Like where is it?
New Orleans is southeast.
Yep.
Compared, it's like near Florida Panhandle. If you were to look
Yeah.
at the Gulf of Mexico, we're curving into that. The Mississippi River dumps into the Gulf of Mexico right as we hit kind of
Yeah.
Mississippi, Florida there.
Mm.
Okay.
Like, what is
We're
the
like
distance?
the ball sack of the Florida penile extension.
So just
the
for reference,
speed
how
in
far,
this-
how far is you from Texas?
in
Close,
in
hours.
badges.
I'm in
Okay.
Houston in 3 or 4 hours. I think that's
Okay. Yeah. Now I can sort of gauge what that is. But
Yeehaw.
yeah, U-Haul all the way there. And
I think we're gonna pot it. Get a box here, put everything in a box, and it's like a big shipping box.
Oh yeah,
we're
nice.
gonna do.
will you guys have a presence at Magic Live out of curiosity?
Ask me later. Probably. I would assume he does, but maybe having that storefront in town means he doesn't. So, and
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
But here, it's like this. Every time I've gone to a convention, at the SAM, I saw Wolfgang. At the TAOM, I saw Wolfgang. He's setting up at the Magi Fest. He gets around. So I'm assuming he does the Magic Live, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, nice. Well, you would have seen him last year, Nick, if that was the case.
Yeah, but I
His
was
booth.
And 100 other dealers. So it's
exactly. Yeah, I'm certain. I actually just googled the website whilst we were chatting real quick, and I'm like, I guaranteed I was I was there, and I'm pretty sure I bought stuff as well.
So Wolfgang's one of the booths where he's not maybe demoing a specific product or the latest greatest thing, but he has a plethora of amazing items, things he's picked up, maybe one-ofs and books, the bins of lecture notes you might go through to find, maybe a bargain bin of Tenyo stuff and some higher class items, shining in the back. It's got everything. So how great is that?
Yeah, I'm learnsleightofhand.org.
We're going to have a new sponsor, whether you like it or not.
Bring it. Yeah, because I've been trying to track down a David P. Abbott book that was released about 8-9 years ago. It's like the final workings of that. And I was just perusing the website whilst that was happening. There was only X amount of them made. I think 400 copies made. So, I've been very curious about that book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Doug, when you move to Vegas, is learnsleightofhand.org still operating? Still
100% keeping all of that ship rolling. I'm leaning towards a different model of distributing this information, even considering making most of it free just so people have access to it. Absolutely part of my business model. Mm-hmm. I'll be able to introduce people to my products at the store, and that will be valuable to me, in that respect. Oh, you like sleight of hand? You might like this. Take my card, check me out. Things like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. But you might, great, buy these props and whatever. But if you're really getting serious, boom.
Yeah. And then today I was thinking like maybe an episode is, maybe one of my learning sessions is all the accessories that a sleight of hand performer might need. And now, because I'm in this space, I have all of them. So I can literally show students everything they would need, where now I'm limited to what's in this room. And if I want to order it and spend money. And so, I feel the library, all the books, so now when I'm referencing a book maybe I don't have, I can pull it off the shelf, show it to the people. And then maybe they buy that book. So everyone wins. You learn, I learn, Wolfgang sells stuff, which allows us to learn. I really feel it's a good mix.
I totally agree with you, man. Like, I mean, it's, I say this with all respect, how you are the senior statesman of our podcast here, but it's just like, you never want to stop learning. You just don't. Like when it comes to magic, like consuming magic is like one of the greatest things. And I've just been ripping books off the shelf this week, as well as we did our New Year's resolution last week. I'm sort of learning a new trick every week, maybe not performing it, but just reading it, studying it. And I'm enjoying a lot of theory right now. I'm revisiting Darwin Ortiz's Strong Magic because I just felt like I didn't absorb it well enough before reading Designing Miracles. So
you do that.
Yeah, you've got to absorb that a lot.
You gotta soak it in.
Yeah, but I just cracked open it's right here actually. So that's that. But I was reading The Dark Corners by Ben Hart, with the really crazy idea with the matchbox and performing a trick in the dark. Like, just, who thinks of that? For those of you that don't know, it's the first trick in the book, and it's very simple. It's like you have it's pitch black. You give someone a box, they shake it, they identify it's a box of matches. Ask them to reach in, take a match out, and light it. Once it's lit, you can then turn the lights on, blow out the match, and away you go. Not an amazing feat of magic in itself, but where the magic is when you open the box and tip out its contents, they lit the only matchstick that wasn't already burnt.
Yes,
and all the other ones are, and it's like that's great. And like I've never thought to myself, like, if I had to do a trick in pitch blackness and make it magical, you know what I mean? Like that's
the challenge. Who thinks of that? Who thinks of what effect should I do with all the lights off? It's crazy. Yeah. And it's just it's so fun to have that knowledge and stuff. And I think that would be great. And I think it would be a great value add to the listeners here as well, and it's great that we can direct them to the shop. I also like his I like his plot on Russian roulette, where there's 5 envelopes, but instead of there being like a spike for the magician or just like one of them has money or whatever, it's like one of these envelopes is loaded with confetti, like miniature little glitter. It's like a glitter bomb.
Like a glitter bomb. That's
and we're
cool.
going to cut each one you choose. We're going to cut open above your bag, like the lady's bag that's come on stage. So the goal is to not pick the glitter bomb, that you're never going to get out of your bag ever again. So they're actually like invested in the trick. It's, just a fun, different plot, whimsical plot. And he has a great way of thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, so that and the beauty of having things that from the estate is it's not always about the latest and greatest. And a lot of people seek that. And just while we step away from the TikTok idea, Penn and Teller are in town. We had a great conversation yesterday. We did a performance at the Laneway Theatre, which is Tim Ellis's theatre, who's been on the podcast prior. And they both came, and we put on a show of like 13 magicians doing 5-minute sets, and it was awesome. But we're having lots of conversations about new routines. Was
this just like, you got to slow down a little bit. You just start dropping Penn and Teller in the convo here. So Penn and Teller in Australia,
Melbourne.
Turin, and
Turin. Yep.
Came to Tim Ellis's theater just to see you guys. Was it a show going on anyway?
Just to hang out. So we're gonna put on a show anyway, and we extended the hand of friendship to Teller and said, we're doing a thing. Do you want to come and hang out with all our magician friends? And he was like, absolutely. You guys are like my most wonderful friends. He considers us friends, as you said, in the car ride. So I picked him up from his hotel. We went there. We had a wonderful feed of beautiful Italian cuisine, had an absolute laugh. Penn arrived a little bit later. They watched the entire show. Had a
Penn
laugh.
Skips the magic. He's like, I'll be there after the magic's over.
Yeah. Had a laugh and a half, and away we went. But he was saying that like a lot of the ideas and thoughts that he'd sort of pulled together, he pulled from old school Burglass books. And it's like, that's where the treasures are, man. And I think it's well, there you go. Yeah. There's a photograph for those watching on YouTube right now of all the guys who are involved.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And we had a wonderful time. So you can see Coronel there. Dom Chambers was there. Chianio's another amazing card magician from there. Anthony DeMazzi, Lawrence Lung, a good friend.
Teller's in the shorts. He's like, I'm just going to wear the shorts to this.
Yeah,
one.
he actually messaged. He was like, given the weather, is acceptable to wear a t-shirt and shorts? And I said, yeah. And if you really want to fit in, wear thongs. Oh, sorry, I said flip flops.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So they start performing as of today. So it was basically their only day off, and they came to hang out with us. So we're deeply grateful for their time.
Come
super,
on.
super lovely.
Man.
But all the cool stuff they find, like the Wackatella routines and so forth, it's in these old school books. And I think it's so important that if you have an opportunity, Doug, to find those ideas and bring them to light, even if you just go, I'm going to crack open one book, find one cool idea and talk about it and go, if you like it, it's in here. Boom. I would watch the crap out of that if you did that on the TikToks.
You know, one of the things that breaks my heart in my current situation is I don't possess the library that I have owned in my life. I've managed to lose a couple of considerable large libraries. Katrina took a big chunk, and when I was young, I lost one when I moved from my house. Now all the books will be there. So I'll have my own library to say, here's what you need to know. And yes, I'd love to do Doug's book reports and so on.
Oh yeah.
There's so many possibilities now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about like, what are we to expect in the months to come once you've established yourself in Vegas and you're now working with Trick Supply? What are we to expect?
Wow. So first and foremost for me, it's got to be to understand the business, right? The lay of the land. He's got hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory. I can't imagine what that warehouse looks like. So February will be learning, that in Las Vegas for me. And then moving forward, like I said, I got the message today. He wants to do a TikTok shop, and I've wanted to do a TikTok shop forever. That will take considerable effort, and learning what's appropriate for that, medium. We'll figure that out. And then also developing the brick and mortar, which, is going to be, figuring out what days to open, probably Friday, Saturday, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, hopefully all of the days. It'd be great if we could do that. Setting up a new studio and getting a new point of view really for everything that I'm doing. And I was looking to change everything anyway, as far as the, my current production. We've all seen this for enough years. Let's look at it from a new way. I'll give you one brief example today. Like when I think about how am I going to demonstrate tricks from Trick Supply, you know what I want to do? I want to film the magicians that come in the store and have them share their favorite piece of magic that maybe we offer. So now you're not looking at me doing it. I'm giving other guys, a spotlight if they want it. And I think that's an example of how I might be able to share magic in a different way and benefit people.
Well, dude, think about how great that would be, because I mean, so many people release things at Magic Live long before they ever hit, the airwaves, so to speak.
Yeah.
Morten Christensen's Jumbo card was a perfect example of that.
Yep.
And how cool would it be if, like, Magic Live's in town? Hey, man, this is our platform. Why don't you come by? It's only a stone throw from the airport. You're in town anyway.
Yeah.
Come and do a little thing on the camera. We could share it to everyone and give an opportunity.
And this should be something that creators find desirable, because I'm pretty good at social media. I'll make you look good. And, now more than ever am I, because it's not just for me now, it's for another business that's entrusting me with their product. So I'm going to dial it up even more and be, as best I can be.
Will the studio be set up in the shop, or will you still be operating?
So I very much intend to do everything I'm doing currently, and I'll be doing shorts for myself. I'll be doing a weekly live for my own channel, YouTube Doug Con, and I hope to do some educational content, continuing to teach, the noobs on YouTube how to do it right. So I hope to find time to do all of that, and some of that will be from the shop, but I do intend to build a studio out in Las Vegas and just continue to offer what I've been offering. I like it. We got a good. I made so many friends now. It's like I can't stop now.
Oh yeah,
I got bros.
Yeah, maybe we could pop in when Magic Live comes around, and we can actually do a vlog, Josh, so we can sort of show.
We're getting enough space to host guests for sure. That's one of the reasons I want this townhouse. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 baths.
Yeah, nice. 3 baths. That should be enough for Nick.
I will never wash my head in the same water my balls are.
Morning, afternoon, night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else I could see happening, Doug, is if you build a studio for shooting content, I don't see why the other Vegas magicians that have shows and stuff wouldn't come to your house.
That's the other thing. Like, I got some cool guys here in New Orleans that'll come say hi. Steve Reynolds comes over. Jimmy talks a lot. Sometimes guys come through in town, but guess what? In Vegas, they're all there.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's go say hi. Probably not to Shin Lim, but maybe someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Filming tutorials in your studio would be amazing.
Come on.
But what I also mean is, if because the thing is, I've seen a lot of the Vegas guys putting up their own content, and it's all not shot well. Like, it's all just literally off a phone or whatever. Like, Matt Franco makes a lot of videos just off his phone. It looks like from his phone, And so if they know they can just roll up to Doug's studio, hire that setup,
I'm
and it's going to come out.
Franco.
Can I just say to that, to your point exactly, that I've been exploring the open prediction plot for a while, and Peter Turner and Pig Cake released a thing recently. So I purchased it just to further my knowledge, and the way that was filmed was the most generic 2-camera at his place in the UK where it's cold. It was just so, you know what I mean? And for the 40 Aussie dollars it cost to purchase it, it was like, okay, like, this could have been done better for sure. It's good enough, it's fine. But like, to your point, exactly that. Sometimes people will be doing tutorials and go, sorry, my phone just died, so I have to be quick, or like, your phone, you're filming a tutorial on your phone. Okay. Like,
I think a lot of maybe magic consumers don't realize how involved a good production is. Like, it's not easy to get something good on video, especially if you're doing it like an in-depth tutorial.
I think we approach suppliers and say, we have this infrastructure and you should be coming to us to do your video work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. I think
or the other thing is, as an added value point, is when you buy this new hot trick from Trick Supply, you get the tutorial, but you also get the Doug Con tutorial.
Right.
On
the list.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. But exciting stuff. Bloody exciting. And Nick just hung out with Penn and Teller. We've got Penn and Teller coming to Brisbane next week, I think, or the week after, or something like that. Sandy bought my ticket. They'd already like almost sold out. So Sandy bought me for Christmas like a single ticket because there weren't any sessions left where there were 2 seats next to each other.
Sandy likes magic as much as Penn does. She's like, I'll see you after the magic show.
Yeah, she's totally fine. I can tell how much she supports magic but doesn't attend it, in that I've been performing at the Theatre of Magic for 15 months now, and she's come 0 times to watch.
Yeah. Sounds like our ladies would get along marvelously.
I think so. Yes, but okay. Look, Doug has his year carved out, and I can see the enthusiasm. Like, he's pumped.
I am pumped. Come on.
Yeah. So what about Nick? What's Nick pumped up for this year? What's happening?
My vacation. That's what I'm pumped about. Vacation. Man. Yes. I am a workaholic by nature. I get that, but I've traveled. Yes, I've traveled, but it's all been magic orientated. It's always been either to perform or for a convention.
Right.
And I've done nothing of leisure in a long time. And after an incident at a gig, I don't know if I mentioned it, but like, I never told the story where like a guy died at my gig. A guy died at my gig. Yeah. Oh no, a long time ago. But the notion still sticks. So the venue that this thing happened in, we're like, there's a psychiatrist we need you to go see. It's just part of our like duty of care, blah blah blah. And when you're suing us with post-traumatic whatever else, please go chat to our person just to make sure that like you're okay with like the guy dying in the parking lot, after you were working for us. And I was like, no problem. So I had a chat with them, and I sat with this psychiatrist, and we had a lovely, lovely chat. And she was like, you are so solid. Like, you're a super solid guy. This doesn't affect you. I can tell you put it together. You're this and that. There's only one thing I have to say about you. And it's that downtime, you treat it as a luxury, and you need to treat it as a necessity. And it's okay to stop. And it's okay to relax and not work so much. Like, that's the only thing I can say about you. And anyone who knows me and knows my work ethic knows, yes, I'm flat out. I get it, right? And I prioritize. My notion is I do too many things, so I'm never doing nothing. And I have too many people to take care of, so I'm never taking care of, I'm seldom ever taking care of myself. So, so the vacation is something I'm looking forward to, where I'm just going to be on a mountain in the snow with probably poor reception, and that's going to be me, man. That's going to be me. Just 3 weeks 2 weeks in Canada, 1 week in Japan, and then I'll be home. It is just, yeah.
Canada, huh?
Yeah. So I'm going to be gone good and proper, but I intend on bringing my mic with me. And if there's an opportunity that we're having a snow-in day, that I think that it falls around 4 p.m. I think if I'm in Vancouver, so might be able to pop on and hang with you guys during that time. So I will be prepared, but that's what I'm looking forward to right now. And
relatable.
Long flights and books. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was kind of me by necessity the last few weeks. Now, you haven't seen me. It was like my whole universe said, Doug, you got to not do everything all the time, every day, all day long, worrying about everything. Magic, do this. And literally my body, brain, and universe said, pause.
Yeah.
Then look what happened.
Nick asked an interesting question. Our friend Dragotier, he says, my wife asked if you guys really want your significant others at your gig to support you, or do you feel like you would be too nervous to perform because they would never let you live it down?
Yeah, that's what my wife does, is make fun of me after my gigs. Flash the past, the top change sucked, your double lift needs work, and your cups and balls is weak.
So the way I see it going down, it's like you flashed your double, your palming's bad, you left the socks on the floor, you didn't put them in the basket, you left your coffee mug in the like, it just turns from being your magic about being personal.
That's funny. I have no nerves when anyone comes to see me perform. Like, it doesn't affect the way I perform, but when I do get nervous is when I get a phone call while we're driving, and I get an inquiry on the phone while we're driving, and Sandy's sitting next to me because she is a customer service ninja. So me knowing she's listening to me trying to sell this client, that's what's nerve-wracking, because the moment I get off the call, I know I'm going to hear something like, oh, you could have given them more energy, or you could have been nicer to them at the end, or you could have had a bit more chit chat before you got into the actual meat of it. I'm like, so that's what's actually nerve-wracking for me, the sales call. If she's in the car listening, I can perform all goddamn day, but that I'm like, I know she's going to say something about this.
Truthfully, I've had this experience with Erin. We've been on lecture tours together. So she sat and watched the events. And then that's what happens is I get constructive criticism, some good feedback post-event. And genuinely, it's a good thing to have them around. I never really, Nick, answering your question, I'm never nervous about having her there. It's always a benefit. And, you know, if you get a chance to have your significant other around at a show, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, they'll see stuff that you don't see, like they'll see how the audience is watching you or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or that was funny, do that again. And then also if something stupid happens, you can commiserate about it after the show. And as opposed to having to like try to express it to someone who wasn't there, you know, someone that was there, you can.
Yeah. I remember watching a video of Vin Yang. A lot of magicians will know or remember Encyclopedia of Magic when he launched that. But you know, he built up his career to being a keynote speaker that in Australia, his fee was $10,000 Australian to hire him to give a 1-hour keynote. And at the time, he was signed by the biggest speaking agency in Australia called Saxton's. So he's doing like $500,000 in keynote speaking a year, like gross. And so he's like flying here, flying there, giving these talks. He gets standing ovations because he's just so good at it. Anyway, his wife, Pei Wan, like, you know, he is her husband to her. Like, that's just who he is. He's not this. So one day he finally gets a keynote in Adelaide where they live. And he's like, oh, I'm so excited for you to come and watch me speak. And he's just, he's donating his time to speak for like a local entrepreneurs group or something like that. Anyway, he freaking gives it all because he knows his wife's in the audience. And then he's filming while they're driving home. And he's like, so Payone, like, were you proud of me? Like, what did you think of my talk? And she's just like, yeah, it's very good. Yeah, good job. You know? But I think you need that. You can't have like your partner can't be fangirling over your work.
Why not?
Then it's a bit weird, you know?
Here's your reality check. You're not all that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm curious about? You know how we say, like, do we get nervous and whatever else? Like, do you guys remember when you would perform things and you'd get away with it? Like, you'd get away with a watch steal or something like that, and you'd feel that adrenaline rush of, like you did something really, really wonderful. Those moments are kind of few and far between. Like, now it's just like, it's just what I do. Like, for someone else experiencing it, it's like, wow. But you know, when you go for kind of those miracle, like, oh, just look at a card, did you see one? And then you have somebody point to a deck and then all of it, and it all hits open prediction stuff, whatever it is. Like, I kind of feel like those moments are now few and far between, you know? And they're more scary than they are exhilarating, is what I think.
Yeah.
You need a vacation.
What is it?
I said you need a vacation.
Yeah.
Should we do a quick gig stories? Have you been doing any gigs, Nick?
I've done a lot, but I have a gig story that a friend told me yesterday, and I'm going to keep their name out of this equation, but you guys need to hear this story. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. Are you ready for this?
Let me roll the clip.
So gig stories, a section of the show. We like to talk about gig stories either from our personal lives performing, or in this instance, from a friend. This particular friend of mine I've known for many, many years, and we've been working alongside each other and supporting each other in the magic realm for a very long time. And this person since then has now evolved into somebody who does ships, or should I say, did ships. So, the cruise director was asking for their blurb, and that person wrote their blurb. But this person is quite a sense of humor. And wrote the whole blurb, and then in the last line wrote something rather inappropriate and wrote just 9/11 was an inside job. And the person who read the blurb and went, huh, funny, deleted that line and then published it. As time passed, they got a new director. They got a new director. And they were like, oh, I need your blurb again, please. That person said, not a problem. They copied it, posted it, still including the 9/11 was an inside job. The new director didn't proofread it and ended up printing this blurb in over 300 pamphlets that went into every room of the cruise ship.
Oh, no.
But it was an inside job.
So then what happened?
You squashed TikTok.
Who's at fault here then? The director or the magician? Or the
I think there's got to be a shared blame.
The American government.
Wild. That's wild.
Oh, man.
Well, there's got to be a shared blame. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So they got fired?
Well, you know, there was this person was like, you need to go and pull everything back out of these rooms and reprint it immediately. And it was just sort of like, well, look at this problem you caused for me if you just weren't a dick. And so,
I mean, that could be a good test to see how many people are actually reading the pamphlets they give you on the ships every day. Like, you know?
I think it was that person's sort of motivation. It's like, I bet you they don't even fucking read these. I'll just say whatever. And then
like, what's it really going to do?
Yeah. But when this person told me that yesterday, I was like, that's funny. Right. And I said, I need to tell that story. I go, but I'm not going to mention your name. And they were like, yep. Appreciate that. So
that cost the job, to be clear.
You know, I don't know sort of what ramifications came from that or what sort of you know, like there's obviously some sort of paper trail of what this person was like working with this person and so forth, I imagine. But what I'm getting at, I think ultimately is that, hey, mind your actions because they can follow you around, you know? I've made mistakes for sure, but I'm also a very private person as far as like my personal life for sure. But like, as far as my working mentality, it's like, it's entirely professional and like no squeeze is worth the juice. You know what I mean? So be easy to work with, be talented, be on time.
If you're looking for yourself, there's some wiggle room to get a little weird. But yeah, if you're like hired by another company to represent their brand, squeaky clean, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I got not a dicey story, but just a cool thing that happened for me that magicians might appreciate that do stack work. So we had a lunch on Sunday for the management of the hotel that the Theatre of Magic runs at. So the husband, so the lady that runs the events at this hotel, her husband is like a top chef. Like, he's amazing. Cooking us food there. Obviously, we're magicians, so before we leave, we're like, oh, we should do some magic. But it gets brought up in conversation. The lady's like, man, I watch all your Instagrams. Like, how do you even know how to just find someone's card in 2 seconds? Like, it's like they're just saying a card like the 7 of diamonds, and then you're able to just like somehow find it in 2 seconds. I'm like, well, it's funny you asked that. And I just sit a deck of cards on the table and they're like, no way, no way. I'm like, well, yeah, let's just see. And they see me shuffle the deck, sit the deck down. And I'm like, so you want the 7 of diamonds or do you want to change it? And her husband leans over to her and is like, when a magician says that, you should always change your card. I'm like, do it. So she names the 3 of hearts instead. Okay. Now, for anyone who does mnemonic knows where the 7 of diamonds is and where the 3 of hearts is. And I'm like, okay, great. So go ahead, cut the deck in half, like cut it like to the middle. And she cuts the deck and sits it on the table. And I know that she is 2 cards away from the three of hearts. Like there's 2 cards on top of it, but there's also 2 cards on top of this first pile to where the 7 of diamonds is from before. I'm like, this is too perfect. So I just look at the guy next to her, their daughter's boyfriend. I'm like, name a small number. And he goes, 2. I'm like, this is inside. I'm like, God damn it. Why am I not filming this? I'm like, all right, take 2 cards off both piles. They do that. I'm like, now you at the start, you just said 7 of diamonds. Then you change your mind to 3 of hearts. Let's see what the cards are that are left on these 2 piles. Boom. 7 of diamonds, 3 of hearts. I walk out of there like a fucking gangster.
That's the bomb.
Yes, we signed it, we're signed for another 10 years.
That's a closer.
It was insane. Given I was probably more excited than them because I know like I couldn't replicate that, but to them they probably like, he does this all the time, which is the beauty of that jazzing.
Did you play it cool, or were you like a excited
100%.
Schoolgirl? It worked.
No, I was just like, yeah, I don't even know how to do it, which I literally don't know how that all just happened, but it was great. It was great.
I think that's when you have a magic effect where there is even like, it doesn't literally have to be, but there needs to be a perception of maybe it was a little bit of luck. Like the moment that happens, their brain, like that tries to figure things out, just goes, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And because the notion I left them with, I was like, what's really going to annoy you when I leave is what if you had not changed your mind? What if you had cut the deck anywhere else? What if you had said any other number than 2? Like you did all of that. I didn't touch the cards. I'll just leave you with that. And, I'll probably still get questions about that when I see them this week. Like it's great. Leaving things to luck and it working is so untraceable backwards, unless they listen to this podcast, in which case I'm screwed. But I highly doubt that.
Yeah. That's fun.
And that was fun. That was very fun. And look, we're rolling. We've made it to the end of another fantastic episode. You guys have been great listening to us complaining about social media platforms that are free for us to post on anyway. But, I feel like the attention is just going to get redirected. But hopefully, it all plays out. And
YouTube Shorts, I think that's a good one. You still doing lives there, Norbita? You do vertical lives on Shorts still?
Yeah, look, given I haven't done one in a couple of weeks now, but I'm like 200 subscribers away from hitting 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is for me insane.
Oh, man, way to go! I haven't looked over there in a while. That's very nice.
There's quite a tribe starting to build over there, which is I'm so thankful for, and like I'm getting people saying, I'm planning my trip to come and see you at the theater. I'm like, you got a seat if you make it. And they're like,
what a great way to grow organically, right? You're plugging that every night at the theater. Let's go. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So it's wild over there. I love doing lives. It's so hard to find like
I've just seen them more on the Shorts feed. Like they're coming up, right? Vertical live streaming on YouTube is alive and well. And it will have some of my attention moving forward for sure.
100%. It's on the board.
Maybe it's just I'm live streaming the shop when I'm demoing stuff. Maybe it's just on there.
That's a great idea.
Supply live from 2 to 4 and watch Doug demo stuff like that.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know.
Document, don't create. Right.
Yeah,
I love it. You should do a live tonight if you're not busy. Well, hey, look, don't tempt me with a good time. I may just do it.
Can we just do that?
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Look, let's leave. We're going to give Nick the final word today, and then we'll see you next week.
So the final word today, friends, is that we know that TikTok may or may not exist in the times, in the weeks ahead, but erroneous or whatever they are, it's not an excuse to stop doing your magic, and we will always find other mediums to do that. We have this podcast, we have our Discords, we have Instagram, and I think that as far as TikTok affecting the magic community, we'll find a way to shine through. So stay positive, test negative, keep doing magic.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.